Hello everyone and welcome back to episode 5 of Heaven's Secret, and let's start. What has the mirror to do with Laura's murder? And what's a moral choice? Chapter 5, The Assignment and the Punishment. Oh God, Laura! I suddenly realized that she was killed recently, maybe right now. The killer might still be here. A shadow flashed on the right. Angel Fancier ran out of the maze. I thought entering the maze was a violation of the rules. He wanted to go into the yacht but saw me and stopped. What are you doing here? I couldn't find the words to say it, so I just kept pointing at Laura. Fancier slowly approached me and looked in the direction where I pointed my finger. He examined Laura for a while without showing any kind of reaction, then said briefly in a stern voice, "Path of high glory. Period. Did you see who did it?" "No." He exhaled tiredly and looked at me. "You are shivering, but death should not frighten you." "I haven't seen that many dead bodies." "You will see plenty during your immortal life." He put his hand on my shoulder and squeezed it, apparently trying to calm me down. Okay. That's a new side of Fenzio. "Have you touched anything here?" "No." "Good. Go to your room for now. I will take care of everything else. Keep to yourself everything you saw here." I nodded. He squeezed my shoulder again and tried to fake a smile. "That's new." But that's new. That's a new side of him. I walked out of the garden, still feeling his heavy gaze on me. Half an hour later, teachers and their help started to burst into dorms looking for something. Mimi was standing barefoot on her bed, glaring at Gerald. The demon was opening every drawer and throwing the contents on the floor. "I'm sorry." He inspected the walls, turned wardrobes upside down, and so on. "Maybe you should check my panties too while you're at it. Period, Mimi. Period." She didn't bother to hide her irritation. "I will if I have to, sir." After searching the room, Gerald came up to me, grabbed my hands a bit roughly, and stretched them forward for inspection. He treats me like a suspect. At this point, just get it over with and leave me be. Laura was killed, of course they'll investigate. And I found her. I'll answer all of your questions eagerly. There is no need to answer. Gerald put his hands on my head and forced me to look into his eyes. He peered at me for a long time, and everything he saw in my eyes I saw reflected in his. "Fine, everything's clear now. Thank you for your help, Simona. You will gather in 1 hour in the main hall." "Why?" "The principal wants to make an announcement." "Seraph CrOwLeY." "Yes." He answered sharply, even rudely, leaving no room for debate. Then he left the room, giving someone a sign that this room was done. "What's going on?" Mimi plopped onto the bed and nodded her head. "Seraph CrOwLeY never shows himself. I've only seen angels of his statues once or twice in my life. This is all because of Laura's death. Sifa, this is so scary." She kept blabbling nervously until it was time to leave for the meeting. The angels, the demons, and the unclaimed were standing in front of a colossal statue and looking up. Everyone kept staring at the Seraph standing on top of the statue. I have no idea what he looks like. I forgot. He solemnly looked at all those present and stroked the sea dragon that sat obediently by his side. "Oh, I remember him now." "He's a little bitch as well. We have gathered here because of the tragic loss that we have just experienced. A young soul left this world, never to return. Only an immortal can kill an immortal. But who is responsible for this infernal deed?" The principal waited for the murmur to fade, then continued. "And yet I have summoned you here to tell you something still more horrific. The unclaimed Laura was killed by a glass silver. We examined it and came to the conclusion that it originated from the mirror of non-existence." Everyone started talking at once, spreading the wings. Some began to argue vividly, almost on the brink of a fight. "It can't be." Impossible. The mirror of non-existence was lost according to the legend. That means that if Malbonte is real, he could be set free, right? Yes. Everyone was silent, staring at the Seraph. Propaganda of the legend might have severe consequences for you, son. But this mirror is dangerous indeed. It opens the way to places no one should ever go. It unlocks doors that should remain closed, and reveal the darkest corners of the soul that could make anyone lose their mind. That's why they searched the dorms. They were looking for other pieces. To add to all this misery, one of Satan's prisoners has escaped. We think that Laura's death might be his doing. Everyone started talking at once again, exchanging glances. Nonsense. No one ever escaped from my father's prison before. It's not possible. Lucifer, it's a fact, honey. Do you think I'm lying? Austin grabbed Lucifer's hand. Lucy, shut up, he's a seraph. He's gonna shut you up, girl. Unlike these morons, I don't revere you and won't take your word for it, period. Where's your proof, CrOwLeY? Woo! Love it. Your father screwed up, Lucifer. Woo! It is time to keep your mouth shut until he restores his reputation. The common mistake of the children of the powerful is that they think they are as mighty as their parents. Lucifer was standing a few feet away from me, but I saw the muscles on his sharp cheekbones tense up. He said, I'm done with you. Until the prisoner is in our custody again, we advise everyone to stay cautious. Do not walk outside alone. Observe the energy of those around you. One of the angels stepped up to the principal and whispered something in his ear, then left. I am told you have an assignment on Earth right now. I will not hold you up any longer. The crowd began to disperse, but I froze staring at the principal's face. He might know my mom. It's my chance to find out. Approach the Seraph. I made my way through the students. The Seraph was patting his dragon, preparing him for the flight, but he noticed that someone was approaching him and turned his head. Huh? Excuse me. What is it? His voice sounded cold and arrogant, utterly different from what it was in front of the crowd. My name is... I know who you are. Oh. You want to know about your mother? He stated it confidently. There was no questioning in his voice. Yes. You're a brave girl to walk up to me. Or brazen. He stared at me, trying to understand which one of the two I am. Apparently, I looked too humble to be a brazen girl. That's why the next minute he said, If you are even half as talented and brave as your mother, you will be successful and your paths will cross. I'm afraid this is the only way you will see her. The dragon shook its head and the principal patted it again. You have your own problems to take care of. No need to worry about all of that right now. Now excuse me, please. He got up on his dragon. Are you flying on it? Angels and demons rarely get sick, but it happens. I became ill many centuries ago, and my wings have been too weak ever since. Aww. The principal patted his friend again. He saves me from long, painful flights. The principal stretched his hand and squeezed my shoulder. Be careful, my child. We'll remember you. This might come in handy in the future. Okay. Fire. The Seraph signaled, and the dragon immediately soared up to the ceiling. He skillfully flew past all the obstacles, through the narrow passage and towards freedom. Miss Alina was assigning tasks to everyone, soon turned to me. Simona, this time you will team up with Mimi, Dino, Sammy, and Andy. All the unclaimed must observe the way birthright angels and demons solve their assignments. They are more experienced, and their assignments are more complicated because they are trained since early childhood. Are you okay with that? No, not really. Oh, yes. She glanced at my wings. Your first wings were given to you so you could get accustomed to the idea of having them at all. They are lighter and easier to move, but you should grow bigger wings so that you can face longer flights. Plus, the flying tournament is coming up, right? You will need stronger wings for it. And how should I grow them? Come here, sweetheart. She's gonna rip them out, girl. She stretched her hands toward me and smiled. There you go. Now please forgive me, see? She ripped my wings out with one swift move and hit me on the back. Damn! I broke into a cry, but the pain went away suddenly as it started. The new wings popped out from the freshly opened wound, causing another burst of pain. Like, damn. Never understood these wings. Like, what kind of wings are those? At this point, I want those wings. Oof. They're shining so brightly, it's beautiful. I'm sorry, but this is the only way. Miss Elena threw the old wings aside and whipped the blood off her hands with a towel as she'd prepared beforehand. How are you? Snapped sarcastically. I'm sorry, you ripped my wings out and now you're asking me how I am? Alive despite all of your efforts. I exhaled nervously and straightened my back. The pain is cleansing. What is wrong with her? But she looked guilty and said it doubtfully. I exhaled and sat back in my place. Miss Alina cast me another guilty look and continued to listen. I cannot, that was so funny. Today, Samuel Makoto is your protege. An ambitious race driver, greedy to win no matter the cost, who gradually succumbs to using lower and more basic tricks. According to him, the end justifies the means. Simona, Mimi, and Addie, you have to do everything in your powers for Samuel to win. Dino and Sammy, you should do the opposite, stop him from winning. Miss Selena smiled. I wish you luck. Mimi took me arm in arm. Today you're a demon, right? Looks like it. Addie and Sammy jumped into the vortex at once. Dino stepped aside and gestured towards the vortex. Ladies first. You're so gallant. It makes me want to barf. It makes me want to kiss you. Mimi swayed her hips as if pushing Dino aside, then jumped into the vortex. I'm dead. Dino and I smiled at her, stunned. As soon as we joined them in mid-flight, Mimi flew close to me. First, we should go shopping. There's no time for that. I don't care. Shopping! Dead. Mimi. She pressed her wings to her body and changed her position, accelerating to get to the destination point faster. We can't accelerate the vortex, girl. Mimi almost flew into the store. She quickly ran past the rows of hangers, grabbing things from both sides. Oh no, here we go again. This is gonna last a while. I'm leaving. I'm with you, Dino. The boys left, leaving me alone with the shopzilla. Do they have regular clothes here, or is everything secondhand? Damn, Mimi! Simona, come here. She grabbed me by the hand and pulled me towards the fitting rooms. She threw a bunch of clothes at me. Try them on. This, or this. I'm gonna go with this one. I like the leather jackets and the leather boots. Ooh. Mimi looked at me skeptically. Something's missing. She pushed me back into the fitting room and began to straighten my hair. You have no sense of style, girl. In a couple of minutes, she stepped aside, pleased with her work. Now that's better. I turned around to the mirror. I don't know. I'm just gonna go with these, since I don't have to pay for them. You're a miracle worker. These fingers are very mighty. She laughed and left the fitting room. At the exit, Mimi started to flirt with the security officer, and then darted off, pulling me along. What's wrong? Let's go catch up with the boys before they find out. Find out? Oh, did you steal the clothes? Have you not paid? With what money? Are you out of your mind? I'm a demon. I have no money and no shame. I'm sorry. I like this kind of adventure. This is nothing. You just wait and see. I'm sorry. The race was taking place on the same block we went shopping. Gawkers crowded behind the fence and cheered on. The racers stood next to the cars, chatting casually. Only one of them stood aside. He was straightening his gloves and casting short glances at his competition. That's Samuel Makoto. I felt it with every cell in my body. My heart started to beat faster. He was my assignment. Addie took me and Mimi aside to strategize. What are you doing? This is war, boys, and I want to win. Damn. Go figure out what your next move is. He dismissively waved his hand at them and turned towards us. So, girls, where shall we start? I don't know what you've come up with, but I'm sticking to my old plan. You're no fun. We'll be right in the heart of the event. Do you agree, Simona? Yes, but Addie was already dragging me towards Samuel. Sam, what's up, bro? Are you speaking to me? Do you see any other Koreans here? Ah! I wanted to slap him, but Addie seemed to have it under control. What do you want? Theresa's face turned to stone. We had the assistance of the organizer, and we were told that you could break the rules. We don't need any trouble. I hope you understand what I'm talking about. Don't worry, I'll be careful. He smiled, but his grin revealed how confident he was in his winning. Of course, we don't doubt you, but trust but verify. Are all angels and humans into human things? We'll drive with you in the car. Samuel got pissed, pursed his lips, but agreed in the end. Suit yourselves, another guy will be joining you. What guy? Hello there. DINO. I love it. You sob. When did you manage to do this? So distasteful. DINO. At the moment, Mimi stepped in front of the cars, swaying her hips left and right and showing off in front of the contestants. I wonder what she did to the girl who was supposed to do that job in the first place. Get into your cars, boys. You two get in the back, DINO get in front. But the moment the racer got into his car, Mimi came up to him. My champion. Samuel blushed and looked away as if humbled by his own reaction, then looked back at her. What are you doing? Mimi ran her finger over his neck, whispered something into his ear, and kissed him on the cheek. You must win, my darling. Will you do it for me? I cannot. He kept staring into her eyes as if under a spell. Then he stepped back a bit anxiously. I'll do my best. Do your best. She winked at him and went back to her place, swaying her hips unnaturally hard. I love this. Well, so this is how she rolls? Yes. Samuel watched her go, then shook his head as if to come out of a trance and jumped into his car. Once they'd waved the starting flag, the tires squealed, and we were pushed back into our seats. The car was accelerating, tacking between rivals. The racer ignored the red lights and all other traffic rules. DINO was silent, and I was trying to guess what his game plan was. My attention was caught by his hand stretching towards the glove compartment. A few seconds later, the car started to slow down. What the hell? DINO's messing with the car somehow. Stop him. I nudged Eddie, pointing to what DINO was doing. Then he pressed his hand against DINO's back. He started to squirm from pain, but burst into laughter for some reason. What's going on? Stop distracting me. The car started to gain speed again. We took the lead, but another car cut in front of us. Sammy was behind the wheel. He winked at us and blew a kiss as he disappeared behind the curve. Sammy! You won't get away with that easy. He floored the gas pedal. I pressed into Addie as if afraid to die. Apparently, the fear of death was embedded in me for eternity. We flew past crossings, miraculously avoiding collision with other cars and traffic. Samuel overtook Sammy and laughed, joyfully hitting the steering wheel with his fist. Eat my dust, period. A girl jumped into the road. She was far from us, but our sight and reaction were better than humans. The girl ran a couple of feet and stopped listening to the cars roaring without understanding what was going on. She looked frightened at us, unable to move. Sammy hit the brakes. He sacrificed his win to avoid risking the girl's life. Dino straightened his back. There's a girl on the road. But Eddie did something, and Dino squirmed in pain again. What are you doing? Samuel will drive past her. He must win. Even if he doesn't run her over, the cars behind us will. If it's her time to die, she will die, Simona. The law of balance. Dino turned towards Eddie, enraged. His look alone made Eddie begin suffocating, period. Everything was happening, if in slow motion. We have to win, but is it worth it? Don't risk the child's life, do everything to win. If we don't run her over, the other cars behind us will. I wouldn't want to risk the child's life. I squeezed Samuel's shoulders, making him listen to me. There's a girl there. You could run her over. And even if you won't, others will. Is the win really worth it? Samuel startled, squeezed the steering wheel so hard that his knuckles turned white and said calmly but terrifyingly, I see her. You took the angel's side, this will affect the future. He switched his feet. I almost flew through the windshield as the car started to stop. Samuel turned the steering wheel. The tires squealed. We froze a few inches away from the girl. Thank God. Several cars hit us. One of them drove past us. Someone screamed. I turned my head, but the pain was so terrible that I could barely see the small body writhing in pain in a pool of her own blood. Oh no. What followed was a nightmare. I screamed and reached for Samuel, who was bent over the child. He was covered in blood. His hands were trembling. He gazed as if he had made an important decision, even if he didn't realize it yet. Simona. Dino got me out of the car and away from the crowd. Eddie, Sammy, and Mimi kept away. I told you she would die if it was meant to be. In that case, angels were meant to win. Or fates aren't written. Eddie got mad, and he might have been right. You had an assignment. Do you think you did the right thing? Yes, I do. Period. I do believe I did the right thing. I'm not gonna have someone's death on my conscience. At least my conscience is clean. You have a very limited understanding of what's right. No. You believe winning was right because it was your assignment. You literally were willing to do everything, even kill someone in order to complete your task. I, on the other hand, cannot live with a death on my conscience if I would have been able to prevent it. So, she did the right thing. Any angel would have done the same. Leave her alone. Dino pulled me towards him and embraced me. It was a simple, calm, warm embrace. Don't take it too close to heart. She's in a better place now. You must know that. Yes. The way Dinobot went up to us and hugged us in order to calm us down, that was such a cute moment. We had a little time left, so we decided to take a walk to forget about the assignment. Dino lagged behind, so I decided to walk more slowly to catch up with him. I broke the rules of the assignment. Will I get in trouble for that? He looked at me surprised, as if he didn't even notice me come closer. He kept silent for a while. Say you knew you would get into trouble. Would you have done it differently? I took a few seconds to think. I don't think so. Then you have nothing to worry about. Although my father would disapprove of your actions. Why? You had an assignment and you neglected your job. Father doesn't like when our orders are disobeyed. And I don't like to have deaths on my conscience. Your father's too cruel for an angel. Period. I sometimes really am wondering if he shouldn't have been a demon. He was amused by my statement. Angels always put themselves in others' shoes. With time, it can make you lost. Dino suddenly stopped, looking at his feet. There were cracks in the pavement, and a flower pierced through one of those. But even in this jungle of concrete and stone, there is a place for something fragile and real. He squatted and was about to pick the flower, but his hand stopped midair. Then his fingertips barely touched the pedals. I wanted to pick it for you, but that would make me a hypocrite. Why? Still, this is my gift to you. Oh, let me stop. Oh. Will you feel better knowing that somewhere between the skyscrapers your flower is fighting for a chance to live? I squatted near DINO and looked at the plant. It will die anyways. Damn. Yes, I will. DINO looked at me and smiled. Me too. I'm a DINO queen, okay? Sammy turned towards us. Let's go back. What do you say? Yeah, it's time. We looked up to the sky and the clouds started to thicken above our heads. I felt my feet taking off the ground. The next minute, the vortex sucked me up. But for some reason, I resisted it. I felt that something was holding me back. The letter from the police department. I took it with me everywhere I went, as if I enjoyed the torture of thinking about the mystery of my death. I took the letter out of my pocket, but a sudden gust of air blew it out of my hand and sucked it into the whirlpool. No! I stretched my hand, trying to catch it, and froze away once I saw that someone else clutched it in their fist. Lucifer! Lucifer! Don't you dare! Lucifer was also returning from his assignment and was curious about his find. This little bitch! Give it back! I was about to catch up with him, but the vortex spat me out. At the police department, I found myself in front of the police station and I ran inside immediately, fearing I might get pulled in again. I hope he chokes on that letter. No, he's gonna come with us. I exhaled and looked around. It looked like the vortex read my mind and decided I should come here. Excuse me, can I help you? A police officer was sitting behind a pile of papers, filling in some reports. I'd like to speak to the lead detective on Walker's case. His face changed. He looked me up and down, examining me carefully. And what's your relationship to the victim? I'm an interested party. Her friend, her distant relative, her sister. An interested party? He put the paperwork aside and looked straight at me. Can you be more explicit? You managed to draw the attention of the police officer. Here's the thing. I stepped a bit closer to him and started to flirt. Judging by Mimi's actions, we can be tremendously charming if we try. The important thing is to practice. But what should I do? Spill water on his pants, touch his neck, hint to go somewhere private, touch his hand. I would say touch his hand. I pretended to cry and touched his hand. I ran my finger over his hand, then pretended to wipe away my fake tears and touched him again. Please help me. I don't know what to think anymore, and it's killing me. I looked at him intently, trying to make sure he could read my intentions in my eyes. And all of a sudden, I could feel my energy slowly taking over his body, subduing him to my will. The police officer kept staring at me, then began to blink fast and finally asked me, "What would you like to know?" I did it. I need to find out as much as I can while he's still under my spell. The girl was run off the road. Who was driving the other car? It was a rental from Global Drive. A black minivan, the license plate number were NYK357. He handed me their business card, but then he stopped confused. But why do you need it? Who are you? Thank you. I snatched the business card before he could come to his senses and turned around to walk away. That's when I bumped into Lucifer. Hello. He threw the letter in my face. Because of this letter, the vortex brought me here. You shouldn't have taken it, sir. We'll get busted because of you, and I'm not going to take the fall for you. Fine, don't. Now get lost. I got so scared he caught me investigating that my fear turned into aggression. Attack is the best form of defense. Instead of leaving, Lucifer bent to the side, trying to see the police officer behind me. Did you manage to scoop anything helpful? Instead of answering, I showed him the business card. The unclaimed are capable of something after all. That's unexpected. Ha ha ha. Let me pass. I pushed him out of my way and went outside. I kept walking ahead, and every time I turned around, I saw Lucifer lagging behind. What is wrong with him? Just call the vortex and leave. When we arrived at the destination, I turned towards him sharply. What do you want? His self-absorbed smirk gave way to unconcealed irritation. He grabbed me by the t-shirt with one hand and pulled me towards him. If I allowed you, for the sake of personal entertainment, to snap at me a couple of times. He clenched his fist a little harder. It doesn't mean that you get to do it whenever you please. Did I make myself clear? I threw off his hands and straightened my clothes, but my voice faltered when I said, Yeah, I got it. But why are you following me? Lucy shrugged. I'm already here, so why not entertain myself by watching you? Ugh. I smiled bitterly at him and began to look for the manager. Fortunately, he approached us himself. Hello, how can I help you? Hi, we're interested in a black minivan. We have several models, follow me. For how long do you intend to rent the car? I ignored his question, staring intensely at the plate numbers. The manager looked at Lucifer with a tense smile on his face. You like him? Let me stop. We only need it for a couple of hours. We want to have some fun watching the sunset from a cliff. Damn, some fun. At this time, he started it, play along. So this is how you want to play it? I can handle it. Oh yeah, you see, Freddy still lives with his mommy. I took Lucifer's hand. He's a mama's boy, can you imagine it? But sometimes we desperately want to be alone. Suck on that, Lucifer. Suck on that. Maybe you need another type of content. No, we're interested in a black minivan. I got scared we'd go the other way. Whispering, well played, period, shut it. I don't know what you're talking about. Lucifer liked your resourcefulness, period. Where's the car with the plate number NYK 357? Are you with the police? He looked at us suspiciously. Apparently, we looked nothing like the police, judging by the sudden change in his tone. Who are you? I'll call the police right now, Lucifer sarcastically whispered in my ear. You're a real pro. There's no need to call anyone. I went up to him and touched his shoulder, flirting. You don't need to do that. We can reach an understanding. Yeah, he's not gonna do that. But the manager recoiled and startled. Why is this happening? Am I so disgusting? No, he's gay. Lucifer put his hand in his pocket, making his I told you so face. I'm calling the police. He hastily left to get his phone. I don't understand. Are you sure you walk as daughter? Do you know how to do anything? I'm learning. My answer came out too kind, considering his harsh words, so I turned around offended and added, You're a boor. Woo! You have teeth, I'll give you that. Too bad they're milk teeth. Ah! I watched the manager's silhouette leave, thinking about how to fix the situation. The manager's gay, period. Those tricks would have never worked on him. And you're too inexperienced to sense this. Why get into water when you can't swim? To learn. I don't care what happens. I followed the manager. He was fussing with the phone in his hands, looking nervously at us. Once he noticed me, he began to say something quickly into the phone. You. But before I could finish, someone grabbed the phone out of the manager's hand and threw it on the ground. Damn, what are you doing? It's okay to get blood on your hands when such money is at stake. What is he talking about? Lucifer pushed the manager into the wall and grabbed him by the throat to give him a scare. What is going on here? The manager started trembling, shaking, and clinging desperately to Lucifer's hand. Blood? What kind of blood? What kind of money? Someone's looking for this driver. We'll get paid generously. Do you follow? Ah! And if you don't give us a name, I'll bring your head instead of his. No, please, I'll tell you everything. I worked that shift, and I remember him well. He was very, very, I don't know, detached. And his name is strange, sounded French and somewhat feminine, but he doesn't look like a Frenchman at all. Stop annoying me. I want a name. Woo! M.E.D. Laurent. Lucifer let him go, but the manager suddenly started to shake even more, holding out his hands. And another thing, just 1 second. He ran into his office and returned with a piece of paper. We always ask for an address. Here. Hotel Aphrodite? Yes, your man stayed there. Good job, you can go. Damn. He said, good job, you can go. No, don't need you anymore. I went away without taking my eyes off the scrap of paper. Am I really going to find the killer? Everything seems too easy. Don't I get a thank you? Yes, thank you. This is the DINO route, but I'm still gonna kiss him on the cheek because I would have done that in real life. Kiss him on the cheek. I stopped and only then looked up at Lucifer. He stood quietly, and his face didn't express anything. No sarcastic grin, no anger. Lucifer seemed to be studying me. Thank you. I stood up on my toes, touched his hand, and kissed him on the cheek. When I pulled away, I immediately felt his penetrating gaze. He clenched his jaw, and his cheekbones became more distant than usual. You're welcome. The wind started to blow, and the clouds were thickening. Lucifer and I raised our heads, watching the sky turning into a vortex. We've been here for too long. That's enough for today. Also, Lucy. What? Will you say anything about what happened here? I've already told you I won't cover for you, but I'm also not going to report you. Lucifer jumped, and the vortex immediately took him away. I didn't get into an argument and jumped right after him. Lucifer put his hands behind his head and closed his eyes as if flying in a vortex was a calming routine for him. I was silent too. Then the vortex started to slow down and we were spat out. But not at all where we'd expected. Why are we here? Damn it. Lucifer began to kick stones and swear loudly. What's the matter? Use your brains, unclaimed. Father found out that we broke the rule. He wants me to come to him with an apology. I took a few steps back from the abyss and from the furious Lucifer. Oh no, where do you think you're going? Period. We're in this together. If he has to go with apology, you have to apologize too. He painfully squeezed my wrist. The vortex brought us both here. Father wants to see you too. Period. You're coming with me. Father? That is Satan? Yes, smarty pants. Satan himself is waiting for you. Okay, so that was episode 5 of Heaven's Secret, and this was so cute. We finally had a good moment with Lucifer. Sadly, this is my DINO version, so the kiss on the cheek will be the only romantic choice I can pick. And yeah, let's hope that next episode we can have a more romantic moment with DINO than we had today. Then the choices with him were more cute and adorable than sexy and romantic. So let's see. So it's gonna be interesting to see what will happen. That was it for today, and I will see you. Bye.